All right, serious business. Besides the DOJ classified documents probe, former President Trump is facing a string of legal cases: the Fulton County, Georgia election interference investigation, the January 6, 2021 investigation, the Stormy Daniels hush money case, the E. Jean Carroll defamation suit, which has popped back up again. The timeline for when all of these will wrap up remains unclear. And so joining us now to dive deeper into what's to come is Ankush Khardori. He's a former federal prosecutor specializing in white-collar crime and contributed editor for New York Magazine. Ankush, starting with the classified documents case, are there any initial indications about how this is going to be playing out, and more importantly, when it's going to be playing out?
Well, I mean, I think the timing of how this case is going to proceed is still very much up in the air. The judge hasn't really gotten her hands on the most meaty issues yet, and there could be a variety of pretrial issues that need to be litigated at some length. And of course, the judge has pretty much unfettered discretion concerning when to schedule the trial and whether to push it off beyond the 2024 election. So it's very unclear at the moment when this trial will even happen, if it will even happen before the election.
Hey, Ankush, it's Lauren Wright here. I read your I don't know if it's your most recent, but your article on the 7 dumbest arguments defending the Trump indictment. And my favorite was the fact that Republicans, or the notion that they don't care, because I agree with you, I don't think we have the polling to support that yet. But what do you think is the least credible, maybe for people who didn't read your article, argument defending Trump's behavior here?
Yeah, thank you for asking me that. I mean, I think there are a variety of them. The one to me that just is obvious nonsense is the suggestion that there's no obstruction here because Trump was entitled to hold on to the documents. And now let's just just assume that that's true, that Trump was entitled to hold on to these documents, he declassified them, whatever. I don't quite buy it myself, but let's just assume it's true. That does not excuse at all the obstruction. Right. So the example that I use in my piece is, suppose, you are under investigation for tax fraud in your personal life. You know that you are innocent. You get a grand jury subpoena from the Justice Department saying, give us all of the accounting records and receipts in your possession. You do not get to substitute your judgment for the investigators. The subpoena is not optional. You have to produce what the subpoena commands you to produce. So even if it were true that Trump can sort of get out of the Espionage Act claims, it doesn't excuse the obstruction at all.
And Ankush, I got to ask you, I think the answer is probably obvious. Is there any political consideration, given the high stakes, given this is a presidential election, given that this is a former president, given that the future of the country arguably is at stake, does that play into consideration in the courts, whether it ends up in Judge Cannon's court or elsewhere, on the timing, on when all this plays out?
So that's an excellent question, because I think that question really goes to when the trial might be scheduled, right? And so I don't expect the case to leave Judge Cannon's hands unless she herself decides to recuse herself for some reason. But in terms of the timing, that's going to be a very, very tricky question, right? Because Trump or his supporters would credibly be able to say, I think, that scheduling this trial or having intensive pretrial hearings or the like in the course of the primary campaign, potentially the general election campaign if Trump is the nominee, could be very distracting. Now, the counter argument, and this is why I think this is a hard issue to resolve for anyone, the counter argument, I think, is going to be, well, the right to a speedy trial is not exclusively the defendant's. Under the law, the statute that governs the Speedy Trial Act, that right belongs to the public, too. The public has an interest in speedy trial. So I expect people are going to say, well, we have an interest in knowing how this trial turns out before we go to the polls, particularly if Trump is the general election nominee for the Republican Party. So you could make arguments either way on this. And at the end of the day, I think that's one of many reasons why the judge presiding is very, very important here, because she's going to be the one who gets to adjudicate that.
Okay, just very quickly, President Trump is making political capital of this, right? He visited the Versailles restaurant, home to a key constituency in South Florida, the Cuban-American population. He went to Bedminster. He made a speech. He's capitalizing on it. Does his public pronouncement, talking about the case in public, does that help him from a legal standpoint? It probably helps him from a political standpoint. I guess that's arguable. But does it help him from a legal standpoint, or does it hurt him from a legal standpoint?
Well, the conventional advice for a criminal defendant is to keep your mouth shut, right? Don't say anything that the prosecutors could use against you, because anything you say, particularly since Trump is recorded pretty much all the time when he's in public, can be used by the prosecutors at the trial. And so he's not following this sort of conventional advice. However, I think he believes that striking this adversarial posture is something that his supporters will expect. It's consistent with his sort of political persona, and it may be necessary in order to mount a successful reelection campaign. And if he's able to do that, if somehow he's able to get the nomination and defeat Joe Biden in the general election, then he will be able to wash all of this away, right? He could pardon himself, direct his attorney general to dismiss the case or something like that. So you're right to frame the question in that way, sort of legal and political, but you could see how quickly those two streams merge.
Yeah, we're all shocked here that President Trump doesn't take conventional advice. I mean, that's not news. Ankush, thank you very much. Very insightful. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.